Hey, don't you just wish that everybody knew how awesome your ministry was, and that your direct report just totally knew all the great stories and knew how much you're impacting the lives of the people that you serve? Well, here's the news: they don't know because they're not there. They're not there in your youth service. They're not there in your kids service. They're not there in your outreach. They're not there. And so they don't know. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how many people showed up, how many people are not showing up. In fact, oftentimes that's, if they do know anything, that's all they know. All they do know is that the numbers, because they're getting a data report from Fellowship One or from Planning Center, whatever you're using, right? And so all they're seeing is those datas that is provided. And frankly, that's not enough information. That's not really the good information that's helpful. That's part of the story. But as we all know, that's not all of the story. And so how do you do this? How do you make sure that your direct report knows what's going on? Well, too often we wait for a once a month staff reporting time, or we wait for a once a quarter update, and we wait for these things to communicate things. And then our direct reports are wondering, what are they doing? What's going on in the ministry over there? Or all they hear is the negative things about, things broken and patching walls and all kind of stuff. And so here's something that has been a game changer for me, been a game changer for a lot of people that have been using this, is a department reporting document. Okay. So a department reporting document. It's super simple. Okay. And you might be saying, well, they're not asking for the information. That's okay. You give them the information. Don't wait for them to ask for the information. You give them the information, and not just give them the information, but make sure that we're giving them the right information, not just information, but the right information. So there's a big difference between quantitative and qualitative. And that's what we want to talk about, is making sure oftentimes all we talk about and all we look at is quantitative. These are numbers. These are measurables, right? The dictionary says this: quantitative is relating to measuring or measured by the quantity. Okay, so the quantity, how many people showed up, how much was the offering, how many, these are all quantitative. But what's really important, what's going to be a real game changer for you, is when you begin to communicate qualitative. And again, the dictionary says this: relating to measuring and measured by the quality of something rather than just the quantity of something. So again, this is what's going to be really, really important, because oftentimes there's a big disconnect between what you want to do and what your direct report thinks you should be doing. And that is a big component. And there's often a disconnect between the information that your direct report has about your ministry, because we're not giving them quantitative. All we're giving them is quantitative, and qualitative. We're not giving them qualitative information. All we're doing is giving them the numbers. So again, it doesn't have to be a crazy fancy report, but here's just a quick sample, just something that looks like this, right? It can be just something easy. Put your logo on there, make it look good. Put a little bit of energy, a little bit of effort into it. It took me maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to put together this report. You can put together something. And what I'd encourage you to do is to email this to your direct report every single week. Before you go, maybe you have a youth service on Thursday nights, Wednesday nights, Sunday nights, whatever it might be. Maybe you have your kids service on Sunday morning. Maybe you have an outreach, whatever it is. Send this kind of a document to your direct report and speak into the information that you're communicating. So again, we've talked about it before. Make sure, and especially in a season like this, that you communicate with your direct report. Hey, here are the things that we want to be going after. Here are the things that are important to us right now, and that they get buy-in, you get approval for those, going after those things, and then communicate into that. Okay. So obviously you got to give some information. What was the total attendance? How many of those were leaders? How many of those were students? How many of those were kids? Whatever the breakdown of totals are. And again, most of you guys are probably doing that through digital means of check-in systems and things like that. But if it's an event, a youth activity, a kids activity, outreach event, you're going to have to count those. Make sure that you're taking care of those. Okay. If salvations, you're tracking, that is important. If tracking offering is important, whatever those tracking numbers are, make sure to turn those in. But here's where it gets a little bit upgraded. And this is where I'd want you to lean in a little bit, is get in there on the quantitative, not just, the qualitative. I keep saying quantitative, say qualitative. Get in there with the qualitative. And this is what I mean. Tell some stories. Tell some stories about what you are going after. So here's a kid that I drove home, and we pulled over to get some food, and I bought the family meal because as I was driving home, the kid talked to me about how they don't have any food in their cupboards, their pantry. They don't have any food. So I bought them a family meal, and that's why I've got this receipt for $80, right? Hey, I drove to the store and I picked up groceries for this family. Hey, this girl came to the service and gave their life to the Lord. And let me tell you a little bit about her story. On our Instagram Live, there was some chats going on between our leader and the students who don't come to our youth ministry, but they saw us on Instagram Live. Or, hey, someone saw us on Instagram Live and now they came to our in-person meeting, but they first saw us on Instagram Live, right? Sharing these stories. Maybe for you, it's kids memorizing Bible verses, and share that. Hey, in our small group time, so-and-so's got this Bible verse memorized. Or maybe it's, life changed through prayer moments. And hey, this kid came forward with, stomach problems, and we prayed for them and they felt better. Or this family's going through a divorce and we were able to help them with some of their needs. Whatever those stories are, begin to lean in and share those. And then, share some concerns from the night if there's anything. So for example, I was working with a youth ministry, and the night that I was there, they had those big, inflatable, football or soccer, ball, where you get inside and you're playing soccer ball. And they had this game, and they were putting raw fish around. And so they was smacking around, flying all around. And so the whole youth building smelled like fish. Okay. And they put that in the report. They said, hey, we just want to let you know the whole building smells like fish. We understand that, and we're going to be coming in tomorrow morning to clean that and make sure that it's taken care of. We've done some cleaning, but it still smells like that. So we're going to go in tomorrow and make sure that it's completely cleaned up. Okay. So that way your direct report doesn't walk in the next day and say, what's going on? Do they even know what they're doing? All this kind of stuff. But you're told, hey, look, we had an awesome activity. The kids loved it. It was great, but it smells like fish. And we know this. We've already taken care of it, but we're going to continue to take care of it all the way through completion. So they know that okay? And then some next steps. Maybe, hey, this is what we're working on. We're in part 3 of our series. We've got 2 more weeks of it, and we're excited because here's what we're going to do. Next couple weeks, this is where we're going at, what we're going after. So again, you're telling them the hard data, that quantitative information, but you're giving them the qualitative as well. And I think this is what happens when you begin to speak qualitative over time. You might start seeing some of that information showing up on a Sunday morning if your pastor sharing about what's going on in your ministry. You might just see them talking about it in all staff meetings, and people are going to be wondering, why is it that ministry keeps getting highlighted? Well, because other people feel like because they're not being asked, they're not giving the information. But you're going to go next level, and you're going to begin to tell them the information that they're not even asking for, because you're a leader and you're going to lead the conversation and not just let it happen. So I want to encourage you, create a reporting doc. If you already have a reporting doc that your church is giving you, and all they're asking for is that quantitative information, I would encourage you just to start writing in some qualitative stuff and start adding in your own qualitative stuff to help them help with the narrative of what is going on in your ministry. So that way they know what's going on, and they're not just looking at numbers. Because again, if you're not providing it, all they're going to look at is, hey, there was 80 students and now there's 50 students. What's going on? Hey, we had 20 leaders and now we only have 10 leaders. What's going on? But when you can help them see that there's something more going on, and hey, look, we're still making life change. We are impacting students' lives. So for example, communicate what season you're in. You might be in a season right now where you're focusing in on leadership development. And so yes, we've gone from 80 students, but we've gone from, to 60 students. But look, our leaders are building, and we believe this, that as our leaders' numbers build, it will then begin to bring in the students. So again, tell them what season you're in. What are you going after? What are you focusing in on? And then celebrate that through your reporting doc. Guys, hopefully this video has been helpful. Thanks for liking and sharing and subscribing to